I'm gonna have good information for you guys here soon. Claudio. All right, guys. So Claudio and I were just talking about the different ways that we grind, and one of the things is that when Claudio starts a grind, he will start on a hollow grind wheel and then move to the flat platen after that. I don't know. That's a technique I've seen from a lot of people. But one thing that I picked up on here that I think is a really good thing that Claudio does is, if you notice, they've got these tiny little chairs that they sit on, and they balance their arms on their elbows. So when Claudio grinds, he gets a wide stance on both elbows to balance out his arms. So I think what you find in the US is that we'll stand up at the platen and we grind with our elbows out like that. And what happens is there's wobble back and forth. And so when, just in looking at Claudio's knives and how exact they are, one thing that he does to keep his grinds nice and even is to sit down. Here, Claudio. He sits down and rests his elbows on his legs so that he gets a better grind that way. It's a slower grind. He's not really forcing that into the platen like, people have time to do, or some people do. Hi, Eugenia. Hi, Michael. It's a really focused, slow, perfect grind that he does. I think that's why they get such good results. It's probably something you'll see in my shop soon, is that I will also get on that. He doesn't use a variable speed motor on any of his grinders. All of his grinders are just one speed, full bore, 1.5 horsepower motors. He's working the bottom of his wheel. Once everything is even and ground in, then he'll jump on the flat platen. He starts with a 36 grit belt for guys that are curious, and then he works his way up. He does scribe a center line. I don't always scribe a center line. Sometimes I eyeball it. He does scribe that center line. He surface grinds, so he's got everything really flat to be able to do that. I think he's running, it looks like it's a 10-inch wheel. Another thing that I noticed is that he's able to get his face is very close to his grind, so his precision is really accurate. Now, while he's doing that, Michael Kennedy asked about how you get those deep scratches out. And one thing about Michael, when you're doing a knife grind and you want to get deep scratches out, each grit is important as you go up the line. If you miss those scratches on any grit, especially if you're starting with the 36 grit belt, I start with the 60 a lot of times, you're going to have deep scratches in your belt that are harder to get, or in your knife that's harder to get out. You want to show him? So he's just working that up. Oh, we're not going to do that twist today because when I was filming the Damascus video, I realized that bar that we've lengthened out, we're going to cut it into 4 pieces, weld it back together into another chunk, then forge it back out again before we put the twist in. And we're going to twist it 3 times. What's up, Brian Epros? Okay, so now he's gonna mark where his plunge lines are gonna be. This is another tool I don't have in my shop that I need to get on. You cover the Sharpie with the bevel before you go to the next grit. Brian Epros raises a good point. There's blue Dicon you can put on your bevels, blue Sharpie, you can cover them up. I usually look at I'm using carbon steels, I'll dip, they'll rust, and I'll see if there's any line of rust, I take that out. Yeah, Robert, I'm having a really good time. Joe Kramer, what's up? Dave Perez, earplugs. Is this better? That motion, that rocking is for blending. Now in Europe, what a lot of people don't realize, they never used flat platens. Everything was done on a wheel. And so, really, this is a more traditional way of doing it. In the U.S., we use a lot of flat work. Flat grinds are great grinds, but this is more traditional way of grinding. What's up, Brian? What's up, Joe? What's up, Luca?
How are you, all that? All right.
Now, this is different from what I do. He's got the... Sorry, I'm learning right now too. He's got the blade edge down. He's making this look a lot easier than it is. He's got that blade now. He was grinding blade up on the hollow wheel. Now he's on the flat platen standing up, and he's got the blade pointed down, and he's watching the bevels from the top side. What you can see there is by doing that, he's getting a very good distal taper from his grinding. You know this is all forged out because it's Damascus, but it was all one solid, even layer when he did it. And now he's actually grinding in the distal taper. This is pretty awesome. Malcolm, that's awesome. I'm glad you're listening to the live feeds on this. Dave Raffensperger, what's up? Dave, we're going to have a whole section on leather work later on this weekend. Well, another thing I'm noticing with Claudio grinding is it's not so much about, a lot of times I'm chasing my bevels as I go up. It's not what I see him worrying about right now. I think that the bevel work is done last, and what he really is more concerned with is the evenness of that taper as it goes down, which on a fighter is an important thing. The evenness of the bevels on the top, and then the evenness of the bottom layer of that bevel. Yeah, I know, Brad, that chuck is sweet. Make me one. Brad Allen, I'm talking to you. Live from Argentina. Claudio Sobral. Peter Kohler. I will also say what he's done is way faster than what I do. I mean, it is really moving fast how his technique goes. Good, I'll need those plate bolts. I want them. Bueno.
Ahora vamos a centrar.
Yeah. So what you guys can see, he set that bevel angle in there with this guide. So he gets a nice crisp bevel on both sides. He followed the taper from the top down and ran it all on the flat platen at the end. The beginning was done with the hollow grind wheel, and that's where most of the hogging of material came out. So really different from what I'm doing at home. I do everything on a flat wheel, and maybe this is something that I need to be trying out. And then the other big portion of this was that he sits down, rests his elbows on his legs to get way more even grinds. But you know, even with doing that, what he just did as far as freehand upside down grinding it towards the blade edge was pretty sweet. That was awesome. So anyways, guys, that's a little bit of grinding for right now. I'm gonna get on and now do the same thing. He's kind of just teaching me his techniques as we go. I got to forge with him. I'm gonna grind with him now. But I'm going to have more, and hopefully all these videos don't annoy you guys. I'm just going to be putting out a lot of content. I'll see you later. Live with Claudio Sobral.